All right, so
Very
racket number one is the Redfin Remax divorce. They are breaking the exclusive partnership that they created only 2 months ago. Nicole, I'll start with you.
Uh-oh.
No? What do you think?
Whatever.
You want to do it?
I don't know. What are we talking about?
Emily, what's your thoughts on them breaking the relationship? Let me read a little bit.
Well, I think, obviously when you read even the letter that they sent out, it makes complete sense.
We're neither of us are Remax agents, but we do have the letter that was emailed out to Remax from Adam Contos, the CEO of Remax. We're not going to say who forwarded that to us, but we have lots of friends at Remax. It could have literally been anybody. Dear brokers, owners, managers, and agents, as you are aware, last week Redfin announced the introduction of a program that would encourage buyers not to use agents on listings where the seller is represented by Redfin. I don't know if that's totally true because it seems to me that it's Redfin-owned homes that they're doing this on, but the way they worded it in this letter, the seller is represented by Redfin, so I think that's a little off on the Remax CEO. That program goes against every value Remax has had for more than 45 years. I feel very strongly and passionately about that, as does our board of directors and my leadership team. We strongly believe the role of an agent in the transaction for both buyers and sellers is more important than ever, providing professional guidance and protecting the interests of consumers in a large, complex financial transaction. Therefore, we have begun the process of dissolving our exclusive referral agreement with Redfin. He goes on to say some other stuff.
You cheers to that.
Oh, I did it.
You did.
I did that.
Not one word. Not one word went wrong. Not one word.
Not one. I've been getting better at reading and talking at the same time.
Yeah, that's great.
Here's where you go to the end. I'm just going to go to the end of this letter. We can actually maybe
post it.
Pop the letter up here, Sam, a little bit.
Sure.
At R4, which is their conference, I'm assuming, we announced our core values: more, M-O-R-E, deliver the max.
That was your word last year.
I know. They stole it from me. Customer obsessed, do the right thing, and together everybody wins. And then I'll get your take.
Okay.
Here's the big difference. They said customer obsessed, but that's Glenn Kelman's thing from Redfin.
Right.
He goes out there and only talks about customer. Where Remax, by doing this, is drawing the line in the sand by saying,
agent obsessed.
We are actually agent obsessed. We're going to stand by our agent in what we believe in. And they're twisting it, saying they believe in it because it's best for buyers and sellers, where Redfin has a different look on that, obviously. And I do believe for Remax to stay relevant, or any of these really big brokerage brands out there, they have to be agent obsessed first, because if they lose their agents and they're left with all this empty brick and mortar, what do they do then? Right. But Redfin's whole thing is, we don't care about agents. We're not building a brand based off of needing to keep agents employed. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's to come, I believe, for Redfin. If you're an agent, you certainly should look at Redfin as, and I think Tom Ferry said this, the devil, like the worst of the worst when it comes to protecting your profession as a real estate professional. And Gary, to that point, Glenn, Glenn, the CEO of Redfin, to that point, your reviews are terrible, my friend. Your agent to consumer experience has been documented a lot as being not good, right? So, okay, maybe you're making it easier for consumers to click a button and search properties, but you're not giving them a good experience, as which you say is your number one priority, being customer obsessed. So two totally different viewpoints, and that created this dissolvement of the partnership. What are your thoughts?
Did you get your hair cut?
I did.
I did.
I did.
Looks good.
Thank you. She is the haircut picker-outer. She can pick a haircut out from a crowd.
I can.
Anytime.
So I do think that this is actually not a racket. I think that it was in RE/MAX's best interest to cut ties with Redfin, especially based on sort of what they announced and were pushing. I do think that RE/MAX does need to concentrate on their agents because that is obviously the engine that keeps them running. So I think the whole thing made sense. I'm certain that the decision was probably made because of I'm certain that poor gentleman that wrote that email got gajillions of emails from agents, which probably initiated the whole divorce to begin with. But I don't think it's a racket.
That's possible.
I think that, yes, I think as most brokers claim that they're customer obsessed, I do think that, which is nice, I do think that their agents are definitely a little bit more top priority. I know our brokerage says that we are the customer. So I don't think it's a racket at all. I think it makes complete sense. It'll be interesting to see sort of what's next for Redfin, where they go, because I actually thought that this was a great partnership. We thought that there was going to be some purchases happening. We thought there was going to be maybe even some
I thought it was a good
merger. I mean, the whole thing seemed to make sense for Redfin.
I thought it was a good partnership. I think it makes more sense for a company like RE/MAX or maybe Realogy, whose stock is tanking right now, to go out and buy Redfin, because Redfin hasn't shown their investors in the last 14 years how they're going to be profitable, how they're going to make money. They've never made a dime for their investors. And, Glenn Kelman at T3 a couple of weeks ago was very open about that. They haven't shown how they're going to make money. That's almost 2 decades, right? So maybe it's time for their technology, because that's all they are, is a tech company, to get bought out by a RE/MAX, by a Realogy, by I don't know who else would
It's
buy
interesting though, because I feel like just recently I've been seeing Redfin listings pop up in our neighborhoods now.
I've seen a few too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Ugly sign though. Would you agree?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with Compass. I just feel like,
how do we go all the way to Compass?
I don't know. I think of signs, and I'm like, and then I have glowing lights, and it's just, if we're talking about signs. Yeah, no, I wasn't overly impressed by Redfin, but I guess I also feel like, if you're doing that type of transaction for your home, like there's not really much you can, I don't know. I don't feel like, it is what it is.
And to Redfin's point, they've only sold 5 total so far of the homes that they own. So this is not a huge number of transactions. It was more of a moral compass point of view, right? Like, we don't believe in it for RE/MAX, which I don't think is a racket. I think they've got to protect their agents.
Of course.
RE/MAX has great agents across the country.
Well, and they're doing some crazy amount of units. I mean, I don't think any manager in any city or town that has agents that are, with RE/MAX want to lose any of them. I mean, I don't think there's one agent that I know of in any of the local RE/MAXs that are doing piddly numbers. Like, they are.
Here's what I'll predict.
They're spitting them out.
You want a prediction? I hate doing predictions because if I'm wrong. But here's what I think Redfin probably has to consider.
You having a problem over there?
Yeah.
Stop touching it.
I do because I feel like I'm sitting up, down,
Well, just pick a spot and.
Well, I'm trying to.
It's like you're so fidgety. Like,
are you all right?
Sit on your hands, maybe? Like, what do you?
No.
Okay.
Only when my hands are cold. I do that all the time when my hands are cold.
Are they cold? You cold?
No, right now they're warm. That's why I got them out.
Ow.
Yeah.
We got some jazz hands.
Let's wrap up this racket.
Sorry.
Here's what I do think Redfin should consider doing is what Zillow's doing and what OpCity has proven to work. Okay, you've got an overflow of leads. You don't have good agents because they don't have good reviews, and you don't know where to stick these leads because RE/MAX just bailed on you. You're probably going to end up doing the OpCity model and the Zillow model, figuring out how to get a call center and figuring out how to hand individual agents the leads, not the top end of the brokerage. Although a lot of these brokers like RE/MAX are going to start to push back on it. Certainly there's brokers pushing back on Zillow right now with their new Flex program because they're starting to realize that these big tech companies are going to take the money out of the broker's pocket as well as the agent. They want the broker to share in that. There's more to come on that. That's a little teaser for down the road.